Do you have trouble going to bed or getting up? Do I have some tips for you, hon?
Hi, good morning. My name is Undercover Bosch, and a couple weeks ago I challenged myself to wake up at 6 a.m. for 30 days in an attempt to fix my sleep schedule. Now, this didn't really turn out the way I expected it would. Nonetheless, it taught me a lot about how I spend my waking hours and how that negatively affects my sleep. So, based on that, I accumulated 6 tips I would like to share with you for improving your bedtime habits. Yeah, let's get into this. Number 1, you snooze, you lose. This is kind of an obvious one, but
do not snooze.
Snoozing is one of the most counterproductive things you can do to start your day. First of all, your sleep has already gotten disrupted because of your alarm going off, so this extra 10 minutes will not make you feel more rested. In fact, if anything, it will just make you feel more tired. And secondly, the longer you stay in bed, the more difficult it becomes to get up. Numero 2, do not wake up early for the sake of waking up early. Because waking up early won't be beneficial unless you ensure good quality sleep and have a clear reason for why you're waking up early in the first place. Number 3, your bed is a no phone zone. Again, a pretty obvious one, but your phone really takes a toll on your sleep. And surprisingly, I'm not even talking about the effects of blue light, I'm talking about the increased time you spend in bed awake. Mainly because it's incredibly common to lose track of time completely whilst using your phone. And by doing this in bed, essentially, you're just stretching your bedtime or the time it takes you to get up for no reason whatsoever. So your bed should be for sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep and maybe sex only. Number 4, create a nighttime and morning routine to trigger yourself or trick yourself into going to sleep and, you guessed it, waking up. And there's really no need to come up with a 20-step regime for this unless you want to and have the time for that. Of course, the total amount of time you spend on these routines completely depends on your time, your preference, and your schedule. Important is that you use your nighttime routine to wind down and to use your morning routine to make waking up a little more pleasant or easier. I'll let you fill in the blanks here. For example, your nighttime routine could include activities like reading or meditation, whether that's guided or not. And your morning routine could include things like taking some deep breaths, journaling, or stretching. Again, it's totally up to you. These are just some examples. You could choose just one activity for each routine or multiple. That's your choice. You can make it as simple or extensive as you want. Tip number 5, H2O. So while we're on the topic of things that can make waking up a little bit easier, for me, water, strangely enough, instantly makes me feel more awake. Especially cold water. Doesn't have to be ice cold, but just tap water cold. When you open the sink on cold and that water makes sense, right? So when I wake up, first thing I do is drink a couple sips of cold water. I'm not chugging an entire bottle, just a couple of sips. And once I'm up, I walk to the bathroom and splash my face with cold water. And of course, we all know that cold showers will also make you feel like a fisherman's friend. But if you take your showers at night, like me, the sip splash method gets the job done just fine in terms of quickly going from zombie mode to actually feeling somewhat alive. And then lastly, tip number 6.
Embrace the darkness
and the light. To continue on the topic of body triggers, it really helps to make your space as dark as physically possible. It really helps to make your space as dark as physically possible before going to sleep and to let daylight in as soon as you wake up. And if you like to read as part of your nighttime routine, I recommend using a very dimmed, warm light. And in terms of daylight, if it is still dark out at the time you wake up, first of all, I'm very sorry for you, but there are artificial light options to achieve the same results. Alright, those are my 6 tips for improving your bedtime habits, or sleep habits, or wake up habits. It was kind of a combination of all of those. But once again, I just want you to know that these tips come from my personal experience of waking up at 6 a.m. for 30 days. So what works for me might not work for you. Of course, feel free to try any of these tips. Obviously, I put them out there so that hopefully it helps someone in some way. But yeah, if they don't work for you, then they don't work. I'm not an expert. I'm just a student trying to figure out how to improve her life and how to help others along the way. These are just ideas, tips to possibly improve your life. It's no guarantee that they will, okay? Alright. So let me know how it goes, and next time I see you, it will be my second 30-day challenge where I try 30 days of eliminating procrastination. See you then. Trigger yourself. Trigger yourself. Trick yourself. And your morning routine could include things like taking a couple deep breaths or breaths. Jesus. Speaking of, while we're on the topic of things that can help you wake up. So when I wake up, I start by drinking. So when I wake up, I drink by. So when I wake up, I cannot speak anymore. It really helps to make your space as. I still want you to feel free. Obviously, no one is forcing you to try any of these tips, so